Today we have Grandma Maria Esposito, and she's going to be whipping up granny magic in the kitchen with an iconic Puerto Rican dish, roast pork with rice and pigeon peas. I'm Caroline Shin, and this is Cooking with Granny.
These are sugar snaps. You want to try one? Those are really good.
Oh my God, so crunchy. I love these in salad.
Well, the kids, when they come, they just eat it just out of the plant like that.
With your grandkids?
Yeah. I wanted to pick some of this stuff to make a salad for us to have with the pork. This is spinach, you know, the baby spinach.
Cool. How do you prepare the chorizo?
First, you skin them.
Why do you skin them?
Because the skin is kind of tough. And then you cut them in small little pieces. Cover the bottom of the pan with oil.
You've already been warming up that pot.
Yes. Next thing you're gonna put in is the sofrito, which is garlic, sweet peppercorn, pepper, and onions. A special cilantro is called recao, and regular cilantro from my garden. You have to make sure that everything sizzles.
Look at that green and red. It's like a porky Christmas.
I'm gonna put my olives in there. I use a little bit of this sometimes.
And what is it?
Sazon.
Sazon.
If you don't see the oil, you could always add a little bit more. You gotta see it.
You mean what's glistening over here?
Mm-hmm. Okay. When it's really sizzling.
When it's like
Put the tomato sauce.
Oh my God, that smell, it's transforming. First you had that earthy olive oil, then the meaty chorizo, and now the sharp garlic. It smells so good.
Okay, so then when it's sizzling like this, you're gonna do your rice. I always rinse it a little bit because I don't like it too starchy. And I just throw it in.
How do you know when to put the rice in?
When everything is really sizzling.
And then you have to keep on stirring so it doesn't stick to the bottom?
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me about your childhood in Puerto Rico?
My mom passed away when I was 4. So I grew up with my grandmother, but she was really, you know, my hero. So, you know, she told me everything, and I wanted to grow up to be like her, but yeah.
She was the one who taught you how to cook?
I learned with her washing, you know, everything. It was the country. We had cows, we had chickens. There was one time my grandmother went out and she told me to make a soup. And she told me how to strangle the chicken.
Wait, I'm sorry, what?
She told me how to strangle the chicken to make the soup. Because we didn't have frozen stuff. So I tried strangling the chicken, but the chicken won't die. She kept on just jumping all over the kitchen. So I took a knife and I cut the head off. That's crazy,
Oh my
right?
God.
That was a horrible thing. So,
Oh my God.
yeah, so when my grandmother came home, she wouldn't eat the soup because she said, that's not kosher. And I said, okay, I didn't know we were Jewish. See, mixing with everything.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you're gonna throw this in. The gandules. Okay. And then you're gonna add chicken broth. You have to be very careful you don't put too much liquid. See how much water there is in there? You cannot put more than that because then you're gonna have really mushy rice.
How do you know you didn't mess up?
Because I know.
Grandmother's intuition.
And you have to put salt. Okay. I don't measure anything.
Grandmothers never measure.
It's just that you do it so often that you know what you're doing. Put a little pepper if you want, and you could taste it. It's hot, so be careful.
Delish.
Just remember that you gotta keep on moving it. Wait a little bit, like a couple of minutes, and keep on moving it until it finishes drying. In Puerto Rico, we always use these pots. So when I came here, the first thing I did, I bought my pot.
What's that pot called?
Caldero. You gotta make sure it doesn't stick to the bottom like now. You're supposed to lower it again. As it's drying, you keep on lowering it, you know, half of medium. When it dries completely, then you're gonna stir it again. And then I usually put a piece of aluminum foil on top of it. I put this here and cover it.
So how come you do both?
In Puerto Rico, we used to go outside and cut a piece of the banana plant and put it over the rice.
So what
So
does
over
this do?
here, I use the aluminum foil. I think it makes it steam faster. It's gonna sit here for 10 or 15 minutes. And I'm gonna stir it every 5 minutes. When the grain is really soft, that it's not al dente or anything like that, then it's ready.
So we got the rice simmering in the caldero.
Caldero, yes.
Caldero. And we're gonna move on to the pork.
Pernil. Get your hands dirty. I put the whole head of garlic in here. If you have a date, make sure you do this like 3 or 4 days before you go out with your date.
You don't just go like this?
No. Look, see? Or you could beat it up to death.
Yeah, that's kind of what I do. Just,
Caroline.
you know, sometimes when I get really angry,
Okay, so now we're gonna do the onions.
I like to call my grandma Granny. What do you want your grandkids to call you?
I want them to call me grandma.
Oh, okay, well, that's simple. Okay, well, Grandma
Grandma.
Maria, how many grandkids do you have?
About 16.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so now you're gonna put some salt in there. The purpose of the salt is when you smash the garlic, it doesn't fly all over the house. This, in Spanish, is un pilón. We gonna put the vinegar, and then you're gonna do the oil, see? It should
Okay.
look like that. You're gonna mix it all together with a spoon.
Okay. And now we're gonna get to the exciting part. The pork. Oh, okay. How many pounds is this?
It's 10 pounds.
10 pounds?
Yeah.
That's a lot of pork.
After you cook it, it's just gonna reduce itself.
This is a beautiful cut here. When you go to a butcher shop, do you ask for a specific cut?
When the meat is nice and pinky, you can tell it's fresh.
What about the marbling, the fat on it?
The less of that you see, the better it is.
And what about the skin?
You're always gonna have a skin, you know, if you buy a pernil. Some people cut it in pieces and fry it. Okay, so let's season this thing. This is garlic, and this is adobo. Okay, you're gonna turn it, put it all over, because the places that you don't put it, they're gonna taste like anything.
So cold.
Okay, so now you're gonna take a knife and you're gonna stab it.
All right.
You're gonna make holes like this, okay? Take this, put as much as you want, and you stick it in there. Anytime you see a little vein like that, you know, you don't wanna see that on your meat. In this, even chicken. You wanna do it?
Yeah, I'll try.
Okay.
How do you know where to cut?
You cut anywhere, but you won't be able to cut on the bone. It's easier if you go like that.
Oh, at an angle.
Because if you stab it like that and there's a bone there, you could hurt your hand. There's a bone in there, right?
Right.
But see, I went around the bone. All right.
And how do you know how deep to cut it?
Just as deep as you can go, but not all the way down to the skin.
Okay.
Use force, don't be afraid. Look at me. You're like...
Honestly, I've never stabbed pork before. Can you do it here?
Yeah, if you can. Just use force, don't be afraid. Like...
But it just won't go through.
It's because you're scared.
I think there's a bone in there.
She's so scared. Look at my hand. Look at my
It's
hand.
really tough.
Look at my hand. See, I pushed the knife in. You know, they talk about Puerto Ricans that they like to use knives, but that's not true. So, but you know.
Where did you learn to make pernil?
Actually, I learned here in New York. My sister used to make it at home, and it was anything for me.
So they don't really make this in Puerto Rico.
In Puerto Rico, what they do is they kill the whole pig and they put it in a stick and they make this big cave with charcoal and then they just let the pig go around the charcoal.
Oh, when you came here, you had to adapt.
But you could do it here, actually, really. I mean, you know, you could just make a pit, you know, out there and you could do it. You know,
All
it's
right,
like
let's go.
barbecuing.
Let's do it. All right, let's go. Oh, you got to get the backside too.
Yeah, as much as you can because, you know, if you don't pork needs, to me, pork needs a lot of seasoning.
I feel like this side is probably easier because
No,
it's a flat
not.
surface.
It's hard. And one more. We got a little bit left, so.
So how often do you make this dish for your family?
Well, actually, I make it when they're having gatherings, like graduation parties or Christmas time, or I don't make it every day, though, because if you eat this every day, then you're gonna.
Ooh, look at this masterpiece.
Now, you cover this really good, and you let it stay for at least 1 day, because otherwise it's gonna taste like nothing. So 2 days is the best. I'm gonna put these little onions that were left there right on top of it.
And then after 2 days, what do we do?
Then you put it in the oven at 325. This one is 10 pounds, so you cook it half an hour for each pound. So that would be 5 hours. Me, I use this pot over here. It's like maybe 4 hours.
Oh.
And I'm gonna cover it. I'm gonna put it in the refrigerator. We forgot to put a little pepper in there. It has to be wrapped very tight, so you keep all the spices and everything in there.
Yep, it's all contained in flavor.
This is Jace, Jessica, my daughter. Hello. She's making fried plantains. The inside is pretty good, you know, still wet. Some people, they like to slice it, you know, with a knife, but I like to shred it because I think it's easier to eat it and to serve it. Okay, guys. I got more rice in the pot.
You want a lot, right?
You want some meat?
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, this looks good.
You're the best. I actually do.